Welcome back to Wealth Formula. In today's explainer, we're tackling a massive financial contradiction, one that genuinely baffles millions of hardworking professionals. Let's start by looking at Marcus. Marcus is a professional who just pulled off something big. He finally locked in that promotion and the raise he's been grinding toward for 3 solid years. But as we're going to see, getting a raise and actually building wealth, those are two entirely different things. In fact, for most of us, a higher salary actually triggers this invisible mechanism that keeps us exactly where we are financially. So let's dive right in. We're going to break down exactly why raises so often fail to build wealth, and I'll give you the specific framework you need to permanently beat what I call the salary trap.
Okay, here's the exact number, a $12,000 a year raise. That's exactly $1,000 extra landing in Marcus's checking account every single month. Take a second to just let the reality of that achievement sink in. His manager shook his hand, right? His colleagues congratulated him. His family is incredibly proud. And when you see a bold number like 12 grand, it really feels like the finish line. It feels like finally some real financial breathing room has arrived.
But here is the sharp, honestly uncomfortable contradiction. Exactly 6 months later, Marcus's savings account hasn't grown by a single dollar. Not approximately the same balance, exactly the same balance, $0 in additional wealth. And the craziest part, Marcus literally cannot explain it. Look, he's not careless, he didn't go out and buy a sports car, he didn't book some lavish month-long holiday, and he definitely didn't make any massive irresponsible purchases. The money simply disappeared. It vanished quietly, automatically, in 100 small ways he never even noticed.
To understand why this happens, we really have to look at the psychology behind our money. Notice this phenomenon, the 20% illusion. Studies consistently show us that across absolutely every income bracket, people believe they need exactly 20% more to finally feel financially comfortable. The person earning $40,000? They think $48,000 fixes all their stress. The person making $150,000? They're convinced $180,000 is the magic number. The percentage stays identical regardless of how much you make, which tells us something absolutely crucial. The target isn't a number at all, it's a feeling. And feelings, unlike numbers, just reset the moment you get close to them.
So what is physically happening to all that cash? Well, the salary trap operates through 3 invisible, systemic mechanisms. I call them the 3 absorbers. These are the silent forces that quietly just consume a raise before it can ever actually build wealth. We got the baseline shift, tax bracket creep, and social upgrade pressure. Let's break down exactly how this trap snaps shut, starting with that first force.
The first absorber is the baseline shift. This is basically a subconscious psychological recalibration, where your new income instantly becomes your new minimum standard. And it happens fast, within weeks, sometimes even days. That slightly nicer restaurant you tried out just to celebrate the raise, that becomes your regular Friday spot. The slightly better apartment you viewed, just out of curiosity, that becomes the one you actually sign a lease on. None of these are reckless decisions in isolation, but they quickly shift from being a stretch to becoming your new normal. Marcus didn't intentionally blow his raise, his baseline just quietly absorbed it.
And this brings us perfectly to the second absorber, which honestly hits before you even spend a single dime. Notice the stark gap here between the gross and net numbers. This is the painful reality for professionals across the USA, the UK, and Canada. A $12,000 annual raise absolutely does not mean $1,000 more in your pocket every month. Moving into a higher tax bracket means you're paying a higher marginal rate on that new money. So that $1,000 gross raise, it might actually hit your bank account as an estimated $680 after tax. But here's the trap. Marcus mentally budgeted for a $1,000 lifestyle upgrade because, well, that was the number he celebrated. That gap between the gross raise and the net raise is the very first place your wealth is stolen.
The third absorber is one a lot of people find kinda uncomfortable to admit: social upgrade pressure. You see, when your income increases, your social context usually shifts with it. You're suddenly in meetings with senior colleagues who earn more. Their baseline is higher. They go to different places for lunch, they wear different brands. There is this constant, low-grade, completely invisible drive to match the consumption patterns of this new peer group. Arriving in your old wardrobe suddenly feels a bit out of place. Opting out of the premium lunch feels like, well, opting out of belonging. It's a collection of entirely reasonable social decisions that collectively consume everything your raise was supposed to build.
So what do these 3 absorbers actually cost you over a career? Let's look at a staggering mathematical pattern interrupt. On the left, we see Marcus over a 15-year period. He earns an extra $600,000 in total raise income over that time. But because of those absorbers, his net worth only grows by a pitiful $34,000. On the right, we have the exact same timeline, but this time utilizing a really simple 50-50 split rule where just $4,000 a year is invested. The result, a net worth of $567,000.
Let's track this alternative timeline just to see the compounding power in action. If Marcus starts at age 28 and simply invests half of his net raise, just $4,000 a year, he completely bypasses the absorbers. Over 15 years, while his colleagues' raises are getting completely eaten by lifestyle inflation, his money is busy compounding. By age 63, assuming a standard 7% return, he has effortlessly built over $500,000 in wealth. And the true beauty of this? By only investing half the raise, he still gets to enjoy the other half. He sacrifices no visible lifestyle upgrades, yet his financial future is entirely rewritten.
Which brings us right to the solution. Understanding the math is really only half the battle. Actually executing it requires a system. I want to pivot firmly into the framework that stops the salary trap cold. We call it the RAISE protocol. Now, this isn't just a casual suggestion. It is a rigid, non-negotiable framework you must deploy as a professional the very second your income increases.
The RAISE protocol consists of 3 concrete consequential rules. Step 1, the 48-hour freeze. Step 2, the 50-50 split. And Step 3, the annual raise audit. You apply these 3 steps every single time your income increases. No exceptions. Let's break down exactly how to implement each one of them.
Rule 1 is the 48-hour freeze. The very moment a raise is confirmed, you make 0 lifestyle decisions for 48 hours. No browsing nicer apartments, no researching new cars, no booking celebratory trips. Just nothing. Now, I know this sounds simple, but it is deeply profound. Freezing all decisions for 48 hours is the most powerful way to deliberately interrupt that immediate baseline shift we talked about. You have to force an intentional pause before your brain has any chance whatsoever to make the new number feel normal.
Once that freeze is over, you implement Rule 2, the 50-50 split. Every single raise is divided right down the middle before the first new paycheck even arrives. 50% goes into an automated investment. You set up the transfer before the money lands, before you ever see the higher balance sitting in your checking account. The other 50%, that flows freely into your lifestyle. Look, you earned the raise, and you should absolutely enjoy it without guilt. By automating the investment half immediately, you guarantee wealth creation while still feeling the very real reward of your hard work.
Finally, Rule 3 is your ongoing diagnostic tool, the annual raise audit. You can set up the best systems in the world, but trust me, the 3 absorbers are incredibly persistent. The annual audit is a necessary checkup you do just once a year to ensure that lifestyle inflation, tax creep, and those tricky social pressures aren't quietly winning in the background, siphoning off your wealth without you even realizing it.
Here is exactly how you conduct that audit. This lays out the straightforward mathematical formula to calculate your personal raise return rate. Step 1, add up the total raise income you've received over the last 5 years. Step 2, calculate your total net worth increase over that exact same 5-year period. And finally, Step 3, divide your net worth increase by your total raise income and multiply by 100. This translates your career progress into a hard, undeniable percentage.
Now, once you have that percentage, you need to measure it against these harsh benchmarks. If your raise return rate is below 30%, I'll be honest, the 3 absorbers are winning. Your raises are just funding a more expensive baseline, not a wealthier future. You need to immediately adjust your 50-50 split upward. But if your rate is above 50%, you are officially beating the salary trap. Your career progress is actually converting into real, tangible wealth. Stay consistent and just let the compounding do the heavy lifting. This explainer isn't just about theory, guys. It's about taking control as a trusted steward of your own finances. So here is your authoritative, non-negotiable homework assignment. I want you to calculate your personal raise return rate tonight. Not tomorrow, not this weekend. Tonight. Making the invisible visible is literally the only way to solve a personal finance problem. Once you attach a specific number to how much of your hard work has actually stuck around, everything changes. So I lead you with this provocative final question. What is your raise return rate? I challenge you to calculate that exact metric tonight and drop your final percentage in the comments below. You don't need to share dollar amounts, just the percentage. Let's see how much of this community's career progress is actually converting into real wealth. It creates accountability, and I guarantee you're going to feel smarter and way more in control the moment you know your number. Thank you so much for tuning into this explainer on Wealth Formula, and I will see you in the next one.